Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you about this podcast. It's called The DK Project, but it's really The Darren Show. The DK Project is a radio show, but without the radio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Let's go!
Welcome to the DK Project, episode 135. How about that, huh? That's pretty awesome.
135.
We are rolling along. Hey, with us today in the co-pilot chair is the super podcaster from within the head of Fred, Mr. Fred Carroll. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, DK?
You survived the new year? Like you didn't have any major issues?
No, I didn't do anything. I'm a loser. I don't do anything.
Like I
podcast.
You're a hermit. What?
Yeah.
So remember that when it was Y2K and like, holy shit, the world is shutting down.
Yeah.
How many people this time around went into the whole, 2021 is going to be so different. You know, we're getting rid of, we're out of 2020 and da-da-da. It's like, not really. It's just an extension.
Yeah. It's like a day is not going to change.
It's not going to make that big a difference. Just like Y2K.
It's like when people, I used to, you know, I don't say it out loud, but I do on your podcast, I say it. But out loud, I don't call people out on Facebook, but it annoys me when they're like, oh, my mother died 11 years ago. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, that's my mother died too. But what's the difference between today and tomorrow? She died 11 years in one day. What's the significant to today versus tomorrow? And she's still
we were just talking about this before we got on the air. There's these sympathy seekers out on the old interweb. That's a real good question right there. Now I would categorize myself as a novice on the social medias. I do more Instagram than I do, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know. I just like posting pictures of crazy shit and then making a stupid comment. But what do you think of all these people that post stuff? Like it happens a lot on Facebook. Like, you know, like as soon as a parent dies, they go right to Facebook and, you know, oh, my mom's with the Angels today and da-da-da-da-da. Or like you said, you know, 25 years ago on this day, my dad died. It's like, what's the value of posting that? Is it really that people are just looking for people to cry out? And I get the same thing on the birthday thing. I mean, like, it's
not pity. It's not pity as much as it's attention. I won't call it pity because losing a parent isn't easy. And I get that. And it may be rougher around there, but you could build that. It could go on for 30 days because all of a sudden Father's Day's here, Mother's Day's here, your father's birthday, your parents' anniversary, your birthday, you start commiserating about it.
Oh, shit.
Let the guy rest. What did you do?
Coffee on the MacBook. No big deal. I got it.
Yeah, don't worry. Buy another one. With your money, if I had your money, Darren, I'd light mine on fire.
Yeah. That's probably why you don't have any money. You make bad decisions. I
do.
I dodged the bullet. I got a rag right here just for that purpose. But I just get a charge out of it because people, I think that's the new way of like, you know, Sebastian Maniscalco has a bit in his comedy routine about how, remember people used to stop by, like they'd come by for coffee or they'd come by for, you know, a little bit of cribbage or some cards or something. And, you know, your mom would pull out a bundt cake, you know, and you just sit around and shoot the shit. I mean, is it kind of to that point now where obviously we're in pandemic mode, but is it kind of like people just don't gather anymore with, you know, you got your immediate group that you see and that you hang out with. But like, I mean, we used to hang out with my great aunt and uncle and my, you know, distant cousins and stuff like that. And you used to get together on a regular basis, but now it seems like nobody gets together. Nobody, I don't know, maybe it's me in my hermit type mode, but I don't know. It just seems like this social media is just a new way for people to express themselves and cry out to discuss, you know, family issues. I mean, is it really gotten to a point where we're broadcasting all this family? I don't know. Is there nothing private anymore?
It's our fault. It's our fault, Darren. It's our fault because we're parents. When's the last time you hung out with your kids just to hang out? Without their phones, without a movie, without anything. We don't do it anymore. Our parents used to make us go to Aunt Betty's house. You didn't have a choice.
Yeah, that's
true. Now you say,
that's true.
Now you tell your when your kid turns to you and says, I don't want to go there, you go, okay, that's cool. You could stay home.
Well,
That's how dismissive we are, because we don't want to deal with the bullshit of them complaining the whole ride there, the whole ride back. We couldn't complain because your father would say, I'll pull this car over and I'll smack the shit out of you.
That's
we
true.
won't do that to our kids. So it's our fault. We're raising a bunch of little sissies.
That's
to a
true.
Point, with no offense to sissies.
No,
but,
we don't have a very big sissy demo here on my show, so we don't need to worry about that. But I'm wondering, God, that's so true, because it is such a thing, you know, and that's one of the beautiful things about the pandemic. Not that anyone has ever said that phrase before, ever. But one of the beautiful things about the pandemic is that it's forced my family to be together, and they have to hang out with me. You know, now we just went to level 5, what the hell ever, so we can go to restaurants again. But when that wasn't happening and there were no restaurants open, you know, they're forced to have family dinners again. They're forced to hang out with us, and it's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it. But you're right. Now, you know, my one son's back in college, and my daughter's I don't even want to tell you where my daughter is. And you know, it's just
jail. She's in jail.
No, she's actually in Chile. She's actually closer to Antarctica than to America. And
so technically she could be in jail in Chile, though.
Who knows?
You don't know.
No, she's down there visiting some friends and having a great time. She's been down there for a week and a half. She's coming home on Friday. But, you know, these opportunities that these kids have, you know, take them away, you know, whether it be the screens or the phones or whatever. You know, I got two kids in college, so when they leave. They don't communicate a lot, but you know, it's just kind of that way. So you're right. It probably is that we've become enablers to where we don't force them to do anything. I mean, my parents used to force me to go to church. You know, you go to church to pay for your sins because you just got done beating your kid to go to the place,
right?
Where he doesn't want to go. So that's a good point. I guess that is it.
I was forced to go to church by my father, who wouldn't go to church.
Oh, double standard.
Right. See, he would make me go with my mother because, quite honestly, I understand. I was married because he didn't want to hear my mother complaining to him later saying, see, he won't go to church because of you, because he doesn't want to hear her. So he made me go to satisfy her.
Well, do you think that's a big reason why the kind of the church world is dying off? Like, number one, people are just getting wise to the forced religion and kind of maybe that it's not as we're able to do a little more research and dig in and establish our own opinions of religion rather than we were younger. It was just, well, we're Catholic or we're Jewish or whatever, and you're going to be this way, and that's it. You go to this church and you go to this Sunday school and whatever. Where now you can research it and I think it's a big part of it too, where our parents forced us to do shit, and I don't want to put my kids through that. Like, I don't want to drag my kid out of bed to go to church on Sundays because I don't want to go. Why would I want him to go? You know, I mean, but I think we're losing a lot of that direction and a lot of that structure that what we call normal when we were young. We don't have that anymore. You know, it's a free for all, but whatever. I
get in trouble when I go to church because people ask me too many questions afterwards. Like the last time I went to church was my mother's anniversary. Like, here we go, big circle. The anniversary of her death, they had a mass.
Oh, wow.
Her. Okay. So this is the 11th anniversary or something. So I go to the mass. My sisters all came into town. Nice to see them. Whatever. I could live without it. You know, they come in and the guy is from India. Okay. The priest is from India.
You have a Catholic priest from India?
Yeah, he's from India, and India has a lot of Catholics, but he's very thick accent and stuff. And everybody's 6 feet apart. It's COVID church. So we're at breakfast afterwards. And everybody's sitting there and they know I'm an atheist because I'm not a believer, but they say, but I'm not rude either. I'll go to any church. I'll go to your kid's wedding. I'll be respectful. I follow the rules when I'm at your house, and I'm not a jerk about it. I'm not telling you can't believe, just, you know, whatever.
They started asking you where you went wrong.
Well, somebody asked me, what did you think of the service? And I just was honest. I said, I felt like I called God and I got customer service. That's what I said. And nobody's talked to me since.
Really?
Because that was rude towards the Indian, but it's a joke. I'm a comedian. That's what I do.
Wow.
I teeter on the edge. Sometimes I fall off it. Sometimes I don't.
Well, and that's yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone to church in a really long time, knock on wood. Like, I don't even remember the last time I went to church. My mom's probably yelling at the phone right now or yelling at her listening device. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I went to church. And because I remember when I was young, we used to have to go to, what was it, CCD or whatever on Saturdays or on Wednesdays.
Catechism.
Yeah, and I used to love to go because it meant I got dropped off a little early and I could run down to the little penny candy store and buy a bunch of shit I shouldn't be eating. And then I would buy like one time I bought a Mountain Dew and I snuck it into this class. And I thought our teacher was cool. I don't know. So then I got the pop between my legs and I go to open it. It just blows up and there's pop flying everywhere. I got kicked out, but it was like, who cares? What nonsense. I just kind of, but there's kids today in my son's class who go to this, Wednesday confirmation classes. And I made it all the way through. I got the award. I'm confirmed as a Catholic, but
me too.
What do you do with it after that? I don't have room on my resume for that. So I have to
get married. You're able to get married in a church, but you got to pay the guy too. You got to tip him.
Well, we had to go to classes too. It was so funny because my Catholic priest, when we were doing the deal, we had to go to these classes and then you sit down with the priest and you're talking to him and he sits down and he's got his legs, like sitting there. They're not crossed and the crotch of his pants is ripped out. So you can see his underwear. And I'm looking at my wife going, are you seeing this? Like, where's the class? Come on, buddy.
And it still hasn't, church itself has still never impressed me from a Catholic standpoint. And I grew up in a Mormon and Catholic household.
Yeah.
Back and forth. But my priest from when I was a child and went there is now on the list for child molestation list.
Oh, really?
But this is where it gets bad. He never tried to touch me. Now I have a complex that I wasn't good enough. Then that's how ugly I am. That's what I'm trying to say.
You didn't make the cut. Oh,
I didn't make the cut.
You should be able to sue him for that. I'm the one that got left out.
And people have to realize these are jokes, people. They're jokes. Relax.
I'm thinking you've got something to work with there. I don't know.
Well, luckily I was molested as a child, so it made up for it. In the long run. So, but
insert
we won't go into that too much.
Here. You know what? After the deep dive into the horrible tendencies of Catholic priests, I'm wondering. Stay tuned for more after this word from our sponsors. Hey guys, let me give you a pro tip. It's Judd Frost Clothiers in Wayzata. If you guys are looking for some nice tailored clothing, there's only one place to go, and that's Judd Frost Clothiers. They're at 631 Lake Street East in Wayzata. These guys have helped me out on so many different occasions because I am not a fancy dresser. I don't know what goes with what, but you go down there, see Judd. He's there every day. He never misses a beat. And this guy will help you out with a sport coat, a suit, some nice shoes, ties, and they'll tailor it to fit you like a glove. Don't waste your time on all these discount suit places. Go somewhere where you know you're going to get quality, you know you're going to get what's right for you so that you can look your best when you're taking that significant other out for a little night on the town. Check them out on the web at juddfrost.com. Stop in and see them. You'll end up having a good time and leave looking like a champ. They're open every day but Sunday, but you can make an appointment and get in on a Sunday. Judd Frost Clothiers. Tell them you heard about it on the DK Project. Grady Restoration. If you've got storm damage, hail damage, wind damage, any of the damages that can happen to your house, get somebody out there to take a look at it. Don't take on the insurance companies by yourself. Bring in the professionals at Grady Restoration. These guys are top shelf. Basically, you're set it and forget it kind of a restoration company. They'll come in, take care of everything, handling the insurance needs, ordering the materials, bringing in the contractors, and it runs like a clock. They're the best in the business, and you can count on them to get the project done timely and get it done right. Now listen, there's a lot of options when it comes to remodeling and restoration, but make sure you check out who you're working with and make sure they have a good reputation and aren't some fly-by-night company that just rolled into town. Go with the pros. Grady Restoration, 952-472-1570, or check them out on the web at GradyRestoration.com.
Welcome back to the DK Project.
So where were we?
Diddling little children. We were talking about little children and being diddled.
I do. And it's funny because I was a choir boy and not a choir boy. I was, the one who wore the robe and handed out the snacks, that kid.
Yeah. The bread.
Yeah. What is that called?
Boring bread.
And nothing ever happened to me either.
Altar boy.
Yeah. I was an altar boy and I excelled. I mean, like everything in life, I was the best altar boy there was. I did my best, overachiever. Not really. I think I've lost a bet and I had to do it, but I don't know, and that stirs. I just saw a thing on the news that the Catholic Church is now going to allow women to play a bigger role in the priesthood or whatever you call it.
Yeah. Well, listen, let them. We've screwed so much stuff up as men. Let the women get a shot at screwing it up.
Well, don't you think it would be, well, not only that, but don't you think there'd be less likely that priests would be getting in trouble with these young boys if they were able to, close a few deals with the chicks? I mean, really?
Well, that goes right back to mine. I really was molested as a child by a female, and it makes all the difference in your mentality because it makes it okay by standards. But since we're on this subject, I had told you you had asked me about some listener letters that I receive from on my podcast. So I gathered 4 of them, but 2 of them have to do with this.
Oh,
and they're interesting if you want me to read them.
Let's get into it.
I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an idea of what it's like to get a letter that you think is good, but it doesn't end good. So the first one was recent in September of 2020. It says, "Hey, Double D and Jen." Jennifer's my co-host. Your recent segment on child sex.
Wait. What's Double D? Fred? Double D?
Yeah, because Fred is spelled with 2 Ds.
Oh, all right.
So Double D. That's my tagline. Everybody loves Double Ds.
Oh.
So it says, hey, Double D and Jen, and this is September 2020. Your recent segment on child sexual abuse and its impact may have been the worst advice ever given. Just because you were abused and managed to not enjoy it does not mean I or your listeners have to be like you. Using comedy in this subject is a low jab at the pedophile community.
Whoa.
I am a proud pedophile, and my intent is to have the freedom to love whoever I desire.
What?
You claim abuse, but you were simply loved. You should thank the person rather than spread unknown lies about her. Stop labeling us as sick or mentally unstable. One day the laws will allow us the freedom our forefathers meant for this country. I won't be listening any longer. Doug in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yes.
Is that, did they leave a full address on there?
They did not, but their emails, and I give them the ability to anonymous. They don't have to put their name and they don't have to put their return email because I figure I won't get great letters if people actually out themselves, but people like to out themselves.
So how do you respond to that then? Like, you don't say anything that I just talk about on your show?
Yeah, I'll talk about it on the show without reading the letter. I saved it for the DK Project. I've never read these letters. These are in the bad file. But the second one gets a little even similar.
All right, let's hear it.
Double D in the Double D podcast. That's my old podcast, and this is from 2017.
All right.
I was solo at the time. You seem to be an amazing open man. You are verbally responsible and rarely ramble nonsense. I am a member of a club that may be for you. If you choose to join, please use my name as your sponsor, but remain open-minded and thank you for your support. Mike Roberts from the Illinois chapter of NAMBLA. Do you know what
Really?
NAMBLA is?
I do.
The National Association of Man Boy Lover Association.
So what? So read the beginning of that again. So they're saying that you're thinking about joining the club?
Oh, they're inviting me into the club because I seem to be an amazing open man and verbally responsible and rarely ramble nonsense. Because clearly NAMBLA is a legitimate group that I should be a part of. And he wants me. His name's Mike Roberts. He gave me his name and what chapter of NAMBLA he belonged to.
How many chapters are there?
I think they're all over the world, mostly in Minnesota, I hear.
No doubt. I did not know that. I've heard of NAMBLA before, but holy snot rockets. And you just get these letters. That's impressive.
Well, all these.
So did you join?
I've got two more, and they're all religious and based, and that's where I draw the line. But this one was Double D.
Wait a minute. Did you put your application into the NAMBLA club?
No, I chose not to answer Mike.
Is it an online application process?
It depends how they reach out to me. Sometimes it's a Facebook message. Usually it's through my website.
Really?
Yeah. So they're listeners and they're out there. But this person said, "What a great fun show. You are a bit potty mouthed, but your honesty overcomes your flaws. But have you found Jesus? Perhaps he could help you preach more about the Lord and help you overcome your negative views on religion. I will pray for you, Nancy." Oh. So that was a sweet one, but she wants me to find Jesus.
Thanks, Nancy. What do you think that? How does a Bible thumper like that find your podcast? Were you marketing to like the church?
No, but
deal?
I think everybody has their underlying. I mean, I know plenty of people that are Bible thumpers that are out cheating on their wife. I mean, everybody's human, regardless of their belief. The human element is still there.
Yeah.
That's why these priests get in trouble.
Wow.
And stuff.
I didn't know you had such a big religious following, dude.
Well, this is my favorite one.
All right.
And one that I've brought up before, but I've never read it out loud because I actually reported this one. So it says, "Hey, Fred, longtime listener from Chicago. Where could I find those toys you mentioned in your Sex Ed with Fred segment from last week? Please respond only to my P.O. box with a detailed list, well masked and sealed, as I am not in a job that accepts the lifestyle openly. The address says St. James Catholic Church Services, but please disregard. We're not really connected to the church. It's a post office error that we are trying to correct." I won't say his name. So the point of this was, after researching this, his name actually matched up with somebody that works at the actual church that he gave the name to in Chicago.
What?
So this is a priest or something reaching out to me about sex toys because we did a sex toy segment.
So there's so many red flags here. So you had a segment called
Sex Ed with Fred. And off of that, this particular writer, maybe a priest, maybe not a priest, probably a priest, wrote into you asking where to get these delivered to the church? Yes.
Oh, I'm
through
telling
a PO
you.
box. Through a PO box.
Oh,
but I do have one, the final one, and this is an example of what I do to protect my co-host.
Uh-oh.
So it says, "Hey Fred, you are not funny, but your co-host is hot. I have included photos for you to give to her. Please forward." So
really?
So I received 10 mediocre dick pics I mean, he wasn't anything to shake a stick at. A little bigger than me, but you know, I'm a grower, not a shower. He was clearly a shower or fluffed up, but I received these pics and I never forwarded them. I kept them, and they're my screensaver now.
Why in the world? Why didn't you forward them?
Because
what conversation piece?
Well, my co-host is a married woman, and
you're just one thing man. You're withholding a parcel. That's against the law, dude.
No, but it's actually against the law for me to send them to her to a point. I ran into a problem one time where my daughter, when she was very young, she was like 11 or 12 or 13. All the years jumbled together. Regardless, somebody sent her a pic of something. I think it was another girl naked. Okay. One of their classmates.
Yeah. Oh, that goes bad.
My daughter thought it would be funny to share that picture with a few of her friends. So she shared the picture. Not right, not wrong, just being a kid, whatever. When the cops came, they came for me.
Ooh.
Why? Because I own the phone that this child, who is under my responsibility, is sending porn, child porn.
Oh.
See how it all ties together?
That is a great story you came up with to cover up your child porn addiction, dude.
Exactly. Now you're on to me. You know me too well. You know me too well.
You should be a writer, dude. You should be a storyteller. That is well played right there.
You know what we haven't mentioned?
No.
FREDDHEADS.com. Fredheads.com. You can find everything about me.
If you've got a graphic letter or know a priest that needs to reach out and touch somebody, there you go. FREE. What is it?
FREDDHEADS.com. Fredheads.
Man, Fredheads.com. Because Fred has several podcasts that he does, ranging from one that's fun and games with Jennifer the Hottie, and the other ones are about movie reviews. And the other one is what? That's like a psychological one, right?
No, so I removed one of them. One of them was a writer's series, apostrophes. And I decided to scale that back and do that only Facebook Live and not recorded.
Oh.
So I have the Cinephiles Flashback, which is the movie one with Jennifer. And I have Within That a Fred with Jennifer. And Jennifer and I also have recently started a new venture that I can't go too deep into yet, but it's a live YouTube show.
Well, and you see the theme here, listeners. The theme to it is the hot co-host and Fred.
Very important for marketing.
For any of the information on Fred's shows, you want to hop over to fredheads.com.
FREDDHEADS.
Yeah, because the double D is a little abnormal. That's not normal, is it?
No, it's not. But do you want to know why I have two D's at the end of my name or not?
Oh boy, yes. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I've spoken of it before, but so I have an older child who's now almost 32 years old, and I'm not that old. So I had her in high school. And when the paternity suit came to my house.
Too.
Huh?
I have one of those too.
Yeah.
Mine's only 29 though.
When the paternity suit came to my house, my father opened it up with his wife, my stepmother, and me and my father have the same name.
Ooh.
Well, it never dawned on my parents that it was for me. So instead, I waited and listened for 3 days as my stepmother questioned my father of why he was sleeping with a 17-year-old girl. And it went on for 3 days.
Am I going to get investigated for even talking to you? You got a lot of strange child-related things happening.
So finally, it clicked. After 3 days, 72 hours, my very bright, educated father finally clicked that he has a son named Frederick. All right. So he came up to me and he said, I believe this is for you. From now on, you're Fred with 2 D's. I'm Fred with 1. And our
and you have a kid coming.
Yeah. And I did. and she's now 32. And
oh my God, I thought this was the story about how much you hate George Brett. No, it wasn't
Nope.
George. Who's the one you hate that you had to change your kid's name?
Wade Boggs.
Wade Boggs.
When Wade Boggs became a Yankee, I had his name legally changed.
So what? What was your kid's name?
Well, his name was Wade, and when he became because of the Red Sox.
But is that what you named him when he was born? Well, I mean, that's why you named him Wade?
Yep. His name was Wade Anthony.
And then once he got traded, you changed the name?
To Anthony Wade, and then put Scott in there because Scott Cooper took over at third base for Wade Boggs.
What does your son think of that?
And my son could give two shits about baseball. He has no idea who Wade Boggs is. And he's a very happy gay fellow. And
Wade Boggs or your son?
Doing very well. My son.
Interesting.
Yep,
so
he's very happy.
Well, that's good. But at what age did you make the name change?
He was 1.
Oh, okay.
He was 1.
So you weren't that far into the game. He didn't have like stationery or letterhead yet with his name on it.
No, but he had a social security card, birth certificate, all that. I changed it all. It cost me a little money.
You think down at the old
it cost a little.
You think down at the old government center they said, fuck, another Red Sox fan pissed about the trade.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. But you would appreciate that. I'm a huge hockey fan, and you're from hockey land.
This is the land of hockey. My son's a player.
Well, I have no idea how you lost your hockey team to Dallas. That makes no sense to me, but we won't talk about that.
What I do remember is the last year they were here, I was swinging from the rafters of the stadium, drunker than drunk. Good times.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, those are good. I can't even name. Actually, maybe I can't. I can't think of one North Star great. Dallas North Star great.
Oh, well, I don't know about when they were here. We had I always liked Beaupre, the goalie. It's Donnie Beaupre, and we had that one dude. He went and got the male naked once, and it was all over the news. Can't think of his name. Cicerelli.
But they never won. They never won anything. Now they weren't good.
Not as North Stars, no. And then as soon as they got to Dallas, they started pounding it. But now we got, what? It's funny you bring that up because, with the pandemic and all the bullshit, I've been, just into sports because I cannot watch the news anymore. I don't care about any of this crap going on. These people are all children and they need to grow up. Enough said. So I've been waiting about for sports. Right now I'm watching obviously the football playoffs, but I follow my college basketball team pretty strong, the Gophers. They're doing pretty well. And then I've been waiting for hockey, and I keep thinking, why are they doing such a short season? And then I realized it's January, and they haven't even started yet. They start on Thursday, but we got this Ruski on the team that we've been waiting for. And I didn't, I don't follow him that much. I didn't know that much about it, but this kid's a stud. It's going to make a difference, I think. He's going to be a big deal. It's going to be fun to watch, but it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm a Carolina Hurricane fan.
How does that happen?
That's because they used to be the Hartford Whalers. They were the Hartford Whalers, and they moved to Carolina, and I just followed them.
Right.
But my basketball team's doing good too. I'm a UConn fan.
Oh, really?
UConn basketball. Yeah, where the men are men and the women are champs. That's our UConn title.
Is that really what the women are, champs?
They're amazing. They'd beat some NBA teams.
Well, that's our NBA team got a full makeover this year too. So the Timberwolves got a lot of new faces on it. The thing that's I can't do pro football or pro basketball. It's just not my thing.
Me neither.
I think it's really weird that I don't know that our coach ever played the game. Like I don't think our coach was ever a pro basketball player. He doesn't.
Well, the problem with pro basketball, I think it's too long. Every game should start with 2 minutes left, tied at 100. That's what I think. That's how I think the game should start. And it would save me a lot of time. But I do gamble on it a lot. I'm a bit of a gambler.
Oh, do you really? No,
I gamble.
I've been watching Bobby Bones, a DJ guy. He's a radio DJ, and he's been posting a lot of pictures. I've never bet on a game ever in my life. I have no idea how to do it. but it looks pretty interesting. If you're like into it, like, do you do it online?
Yeah, I
Or
do it
you have
online.
a bookie that's
and
coming
I've done
over to
it.
kick your ass?
I've done it illegally. I've been up 10 grand, down 10 grand. I've been all over the place. Well, that was I don't wish it on anybody. Gambling is a very dangerous path because it's like drugs you're chasing.
Yeah.
So I fall into that category where when I'm at the casino, we have a lot of casinos here in Connecticut. And when I'm at the casino, if I win $1,000, that's the worst possible scenario for me because I think it's my lucky day. I deserve 10,000.
Oops.
And I will go down 1,000, draw money out of the bank because I think it's my lucky day. I have friends who could win $100 and put it in their pocket and go have drinks.
That's me.
Not me. I'm at the craps table. I'm betting it all.
It's funny. Black. I got Fred's a high roller.
High roller.
I got a cousin who he does fine. He's not living check to check. And he is a pull tab guy. My God, he pulls pull tabs. And generally I get him and another friend of mine. When they do pull tabs, I'll do it because they generally are going to win. They know which box to pick. They're lucky.
What are pull tabs? I never even heard of them.
It's like, they call it like cardboard crack. It's like as big as a credit card, and it's got 3 or 4 lines on it, and then you pull the line to get like matching things. You don't have those there?
No.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they sell them at bars. They use it for like fundraisers for like the Lions Club and whatever. But you pay $1 a ticket and you buy, everybody throws in $20 and then you win whatever. I've won pretty good money doing it, to like $500 to $1,000.
Did you claim it?
Of course I did.
Liar.
Well, they take your license and everything. You have to.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm definitely operating at a loss. So it's not.
That's how I started my career in gambling. Do you know what Highlight is? Have you ever heard of Highlight?
Isn't it an electronic thing?
No, Highlight was a sport where they wear a basket on their arm and throw a ball against a wall. It was huge around here.
Really?
So Highlight, it's a Spanish sport, and it's still big in Florida, but we had the biggest one in my town.
Really?
It's called a fronton. Well, it was incredibly fixed, and you would bet
Highlight.
You would bet it's spelled Jaialai.
Yeah, I'm out.
It's high. It was
that
good.
Alone
great.
would have made me say this is a scam. Ain't gonna last.
Well, it's a great sport. It lasted a long time. It made fortune. Place was packed every night, and you just watch these guys play. 15 games they would play in the afternoon, 15 games at night, and I was 18, legal to go in and gamble, but the rich guys would hit big trifectas where you pick the right people, and it would pay out $5 grand, $4 grand.
Oh shit!
But they would give me the ticket because I didn't have a tax bracket. They did. It would be cheaper for them to have me cash the ticket in and give me $100. You've been running
creative stuff your whole life.
Yeah, and I used to make and this is back in the 80s, 87, I would bring home $300 to $500 a night.
Wow, just for turning in their tickets?
Yeah, because these rich guys would consistently hit. And
well, we did
their tax.
We did I'm probably the only person who's ever gone to Vegas. I've been to Vegas, I don't know, 3-4 times, and I've maybe gambled like $7. I don't like when the wife's in the bathroom, I'll throw a couple pennies in the penny slot. Otherwise, I got no interest. But I have really bad luck. My middle son or my college son is he's got the worst luck of all of us. Like he just has bad luck. Where I have, I just don't have good luck. I don't have bad luck, but I just don't have good luck. But like I was telling you about those pull tabs. So we were up at my cousin's cabin this year, and we get into this pull tab box, which, they have a box with a certain amount of them in there. And then as the winners go, they mark them off. So you can tell if there's, the right amount in there to where the odds are that you're going to pull a good one. And so we started buying pull tabs, and I had $150 in my pocket. So you're going 20 at a time, and we just keep going. And my cousin's doing fine. The money's not a thing. And then there's this other dude with us who's kind of where I'm at. Like, I want to stay in because now I'm in to where I need my money back. I can't keep going. So we keep going. I end up being like $320 into this pull tab box. So I'm in 300, my cousin's in 300, the other guy's in 300. And so now we have to buy it out. You have to buy it out because otherwise we're all going to lose our money. So we go out to the cash machine and the cash machine is out of money. So we don't have any way to get money because it's like, I don't know, 11:30 at night. So we had to walk away. There's nothing you could do. And obviously if we really cared, we would have went to another place and got the cash and went back and bought it out. But it was just interesting. Like I have no interest in it at all. And when these things, the likelihood of winning, yeah, there's some interest, but it does nothing for me. Like horse track, any of that shit, nothing. But I ended up losing $300 on that deal. Pissed me off.
When you talk about Minnesota, it's so fascinating to me. It's like watching a documentary. When you're from where I'm from, Minnesota doesn't even exist. It's not even a state. It doesn't even count. It's like, when you were a kid and they talked about Africa, but all you knew about Africa was people that lived in mud huts. Like that's all you knew.
Yeah.
That's what, when I hear you talking about your cousin and I see you guys, it's like you just got done ice fishing. You're dressed in way too many clothes. You walk into this shack of a place where there's dirt on the floor and fishing holes literally in the floor. And you walk in and you're doing these pull tabs, which sound like caveman lottery. Yeah. It just sounds like caveman lottery tickets. And the sun never shines, but you actually have cities, right? With real buildings and real living.
You don't even understand how you hit it on the head. It's exactly what it is. There's never any sunlight here. It's always gray. And they're totally, there's no dirt on the floor of the ice shack because it's ice.
Yeah. Well, what's the attraction of Minnesota beyond born and bred?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do people come in? There must be people coming in.
Well, yeah, there are, because we've got an amazing welfare system. But they're not necessarily the people we want here. Let's say that. I don't know what the draw is. People like the changing of the seasons, but you get that. I don't know what it is. And I'm leaving as soon as I can. Let's say that.
Well, Minneapolis is a real city.
Yeah.
It's a big city.
Yeah, we got tall buildings.
It's big enough. It's probably bigger than Charlotte, but your baseball team is considered a small market team.
No.
They're not considered. They're not like what I deal with. You got to realize I'm within 45 minutes of the Mets, Yankees, and Red Sox. Money.
I don't know. I think we're pretty major. We're we haven't won in a while, but we're pretty, Can
I tell you my favorite Kirby Puckett story?
Does it involve a bad touch?
No, it doesn't. But so we were at a Red Sox Minnesota Twins game. This is towards obviously before Kirby died.
Right.
Because he was alive and playing. Yeah. And it's always good to have the guy alive. So we were playing a game where for every run scored, we drank a beer. That a boy. And it was late innings, and Kirby Puckett's in the on deck circle, and we're yelling at him the crudest stuff, making fun of his weight, how fat he is and stuff. Well, he walks over to us, and we're right on the front row there near his dugout. And he's smiling, and he goes, "You think I'm fucking fat?" And I go, "Yeah, you got the fence in front of you, so you're brave."
Real tough.
He goes, "What the fuck do you call that standing on first base?" And he points to the Red Sox Mo Vaughn.
Oh, really?
Who was another big fat guy. And he walked away. So that's my good Kirby Puckett story. He was very nice to us. We invited him out for drinks later, and he did not join us.
Well, and he was no stranger to the controversy. I know that. I wasn't a huge fan, but I actually had a friend who knew him. Not like knew him, but was an acquaintance and hung out with him a few times. And he was a player, like he was a good old boy. He he wasn't afraid to get down. So it's surprising to me that he didn't go out with you for drinks. It must have been something else, but he,
yeah, I'm sure they had an early game or
he seemed on the surface to be a really
listen,
solid cat though. He was, he was great for the team and fun to watch, man. I tell you, the Twins in 91 and 87, when they won the World Series, that was awesome. I mean, it was so cool to actually have a Minnesota team that's won, because realize that,
yeah, just like,
we had nothing.
wait, the Vikings have never won. They've never won the Super Bowl, the Vikings?
4 times, and they've never won.
Oh, they're 0-4.
Yeah.
Wow, that must suck.
Yeah.
Have I told you how many times my team won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, how'd they do this year?
That's okay. Listen, every 20 years we have a down year. I'll deal with that.
You know what, though? It's one of these things, and I have a friend who's went to Ohio State, so he's a Buckeye guy. Him and his wife, Buckeye this, Buckeye that. And it's terribly annoying because they're so into it. And the Buckeyes, are kind of like your football team. They win. And the way that I look at it for your people and for people like them, it's like, if you win all the time, it's not really that big of a deal to win. It's like, normal. Where with us, it's normal to lose.
Actually,
so winning is a big deal.
You're right, because I have lost. I'm incredibly spoiled between being a Red Sox fan, a Patriot fan. I've won in every sport, even my college basketball. UConn does very well for a small state. The women are in it every year.
Yeah.
And you get spoiled. You don't become a good loser any longer. You become a poor sport and you become a dick. You become a dick. You get spoiled by it.
Well, and see, we don't have that problem here. Our teams are, just.
You're right. I miss it. I miss the idea of the surprise.
Yeah.
Getting into the Super Bowl when you didn't earn it.
Right.
By being on paper.
Well, and that's the whole thing
on the field.
When we do win, look out. It's going to get nuts because there's a lot of really diehard fans out there. We had this gal on the.
You're not winning anytime soon.
No, I no. Not with that shitty quarterback.
Kirk Cousins is you think you have bad luck and your son has bad luck. That guy is bad luck.
Wow, what a waste of money. Come on. This guy's washed up.
He's a stat machine.
We should have never had him. He doesn't have what it takes to be a Super Bowl champion. He can put up the stats and make it look good, but if you can't raise the level of play of your team, then you're not an effective quarterback. You're the leader.
Which is Tom Brady. That's the Tom Brady factor.
Yeah.
That
and when he takes Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl this year, you'll understand why.
Well, he's going to lose this weekend.
That's going to hurt a little bit, isn't it? Saints. I was happy to see the Browns beat the Steelers.
Yeah, that was interesting. But the Tom Brady factor is he isn't the best thrower. He's not the most sought after coming out of the draft. He has an intangible that you need, which is he hates to lose more than he loves to win.
Yeah.
And that's an intangible. He brings the best out of you. And Belichick has that gift too. They were a perfect marriage. It was a perfect marriage. He gets the most out of a nobody.
Well, and that's what we don't have. Kirk Cousins he could give a shit either way. He's just looking forward to going to the bank on Monday and cashing that check. He's not raising the level of play up because our offense is solid. We have, we could use some line players probably, but we've got great running backs. We've got great wide receivers, but in our special teams, I mean, Jesus Christ, who has a field goal kicker who can't kick a field goal? He missed.
Yeah, well, we didn't.
We did okay this going down to the end.
Yeah, you couldn't have faith in him. That's for sure.
You couldn't have nothing in him. Hey, man, we got to wrap this thing up. We're running long.
Yeah, wrap it up.
I'm going to encourage everyone to hop over and give old Within the Head of Fred a listen. He's got a podcast that's available on all the platforms. And check out fredheads.com for more information. That's FREDDHEADS.com. We should do a stinger for that. You came up with that stinger word. .com. So everybody check it out. He's got a great show he does with Jennifer. She's a doll, and they have a ton of fun together. And look for more out of them weekly podcasts. And tune in here for the next edition of the DK Project when we roll back around later on in the week. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Fred.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye-bye-bye. That's it. That's the end.
That's a wrap.
Read the shtick.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you'd like to reach out, you can use the studio line at 612-504-6500 or by email, thedkprojectpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always social media at the DK Project Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.